What's up, guys? This is Brian J's Nerd Talk, and excuse me. This is my review of the Pendragon Cycle, Rise of the Merlin, Episode 2, which is a good episode. It focuses more on Taliesin and Karis's love story, with them falling in love and getting together, and also, this is spoilers for the episode. If you haven't seen it, definitely see it or read the books. The books have been out since 1987, so been out for about 39 years now, almost 39 years, pretty soon. It was really well done. I definitely thought the acting was really good. The music is beautiful. The production value is also really good. I do like the love story between Taliesin and Karis, but I felt like it was a bit rushed. They did have a lot of scenes and development together in the two episodes. And the two episodes, I think, are mostly adapting the first book, with the remaining 5 episodes adapting Merlin, which is the second book. So this season is adapting 2 different books. And I felt like the love story between Taliesin and Karis was kind of rushed, even though there's really good chemistry between both of the actors. Like, you are convinced that they have feelings for each other. And I think Rose Reed gives the best performance of her career in this show. I don't think she's the greatest actress, but she's good. And I do think she's really good in this show as Karis. But the love story was very sweet, and it's very much, faithful to a very strict interpretation of Christianity and the Bible, where Taliesin decides to wait until marriage before they have sex and have children together. The people of Atlantis, who are pagans mostly, as well as Taliesin's rest of his family, who are Britons, but they were pagans back then, mostly. He decides to do things the Christian way because Jesus had come into his life through a vision, and he accepted Jesus in his heart, and he decides to become a Christian, and he wants to do things the Christian way, which is to wait until marriage. So they get married, they do sleep together, she gets pregnant, and she gives birth to Merlin towards the end of the episode. And sadly, Taliesin gets killed. He gets assassinated by Morgaine. I don't know what that's all about. Again, I haven't read all the books yet. I've only read mostly the first book, and I'm enjoying it. But so that was a big twist. That was shocking. I did not see that coming. I thought that was mostly well done. So, I do think this episode's good. I would give it an 8 out of 10. It did have a lot of fight choreography that was really cheaply made, like in the first episode, but it had a lot of things that was improved upon from the first episode. The acting was a bit better. The dialogue is really good. The music is great in both episodes. Beautiful music. The score is just phenomenal. So my rating for episode 2 would be an 8 out of 10. I think it's really good. I highly recommend it. And it's great to watch an epic fantasy show that doesn't have a lot of woke casting or forced diversity. Everybody in the show is Caucasian, and a lot of people are not going to like that, but that's the way people looked back in ancient Britain in the 3rd and 4th century, in that part of the area. There were probably some kings in coastal towns that were connected to Egypt and the southern part of the area, especially the Romans and the Roman Empire, But in this part of Britain, and what is the UK and England in the 3rd and 4th century, like a West Indian, it's hard for a West Indian to travel from that area all the way to that part of the world. I mean, I'm sure they could probably go by boat and go around using the Atlantic Ocean, but that most likely did not happen, or it was very, very rare. There was not a lot of black and brown people back then, not a lot of Arabs and stuff like that. So, I really do appreciate Jeremy Boring focus on doing casting and having a cast of actors who look the way ancient Western Europe mostly looked like, nearly 2,000 years ago, or 17,000 years ago. I love the casting in this show. Everybody looks the part. And because of all this forced diversity in other fantasy shows that don't make any sense, the Pendragon Cycle, ironically, feels like a breath of fresh air, which is funny to say because in America, it's most 60% white people. The majority of fantasy movies and shows are majority white casts, are all white, all mostly white, and all adaptations throughout the history of Hollywood. But for the last 6 years, there's been a big switch on that. And now the Pendragon Cycle looks unique and original by comparison, which is just really, really funny to see. But yeah, I give the Pendragon Cycle so far, based on the first 2 episodes, a 7.5 out of 10. Really, really good. Definitely better than the Wheel of Time debacle, which I call Wheel of Prime because it wasn't Wheel of Time. It was terrible. It's better than Rings of Power and better than The Witcher. I don't think it's better than House of the Dragon, even though House of the Dragon had its own issues in season 2. But Pendragon Cycle, I would say, of all the epic fantasy, live action fantasy shows that have come out in the last 6 years, I'd say that Pendragon Cycle so far is number 2 on my list of all the ones that have come out in the last 6 years. So those are my thoughts, and this is Brian J's Nerd Talk. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.